List of rivers by length.
This is a list of the longest rivers on Earth. It includes river systems over 1,000 kilometers.
Definition of length.
There are many factors, such as the source, the identification or the definition of the mouth, and the scale of measurement of the river length between source and mouth, that determine the precise meaning of river length. As a result, the length measurements of many rivers are only approximations. In particular, there has long been disagreement as to whether the Nile or the Amazon is the world's longest river. The Nile has traditionally been considered longer, but in recent years some Brazilian and Peruvian studies have suggested that the Amazon is longer by measuring the river plus the adjacent Para estuary and the longest connecting tidal canal. For the purpose of determining maximum length, the river's true source is considered to be the source of whichever tributary is farthest from the mouth. This tributary may or may not have the same name as the main stem river. For example, the source of the Mississippi River is normally said to be Lake Itasca in the U.S. state of Minnesota, but the most distant source in the Mississippi system is that of the Jefferson River in the state of Montana, a tributary of the Missouri River which in turn is a tributary of the Mississippi. When the Mississippi is measured from mouth to this furthest source, it is called the Mississippi-Missouri-Jefferson. Furthermore, it is sometimes hard to state exactly where a river begins, especially rivers that are formed by ephemeral streams, swamps, or changing lakes. In this article, length means the length of the longest continuous river channel in a given river system, regardless of name. The mouth of a river is hard to determine in cases where the river has a large estuary that gradually widens and opens into the ocean. Examples are the River Plate and the St. Lawrence River. Some rivers do not have a mouth, such as the Okavango, Humboldt, Bear and Kern. Instead they dwindle to very low water volume and eventually evaporate, or sink into an aquifer, or get diverted for agriculture. The exact point where these rivers end will vary seasonally. The source of some rivers starting in farming areas can be difficult to determine, if the river is formed by the confluence of several farm field drainage ditches which only contain water after rain. Similarly, in rivers starting in a chalk area, such as the Chilterns in South England, the length of the upper course which is dry varies with how high the water table is, which varies with the weather. The length of a river between source and mouth may be hard to determine due to issues of map scale. Small-scale maps, those showing large areas, tend to generalize, or smooth lines more than large-scale maps, those showing small areas. Even when detailed maps are available, the length measurement is not always clear. A river may have multiple channels, or anabranches. The length may depend on whether the center or the edge of the river is measured. It may not be clear how to measure the length through a lake. Seasonal and annual changes may alter both rivers and lakes. Other factors that can change the length of a river include cycles of erosion and flooding, dams, levees, and channelization. In addition, the length of meanders can change significantly over time due to natural or artificial cutoffs, when a new channel cuts across a narrow strip of land, bypassing a large river bend. For example, due to 18 cutoffs created between 1766 and 1885, the length of the Mississippi River from Cairo, Illinois, to New Orleans, Louisiana, was reduced by 218 miles, 351 kilometers. These points make it difficult, if not impossible, to get an accurate measurement of the length of a river. The varying accuracy and precision also makes it difficult to make length comparisons between different rivers without a degree of uncertainty.
List of rivers longer than 1,000 kilometers.
One should take the aforementioned discussion into account when using the data in the following table. For most rivers, different sources provide conflicting information on the length of a river system. The information in different sources is between parentheses.
Notes.
When the length of a river is followed by an asterisk, it is an average of multiple information sources. If the difference in lengths between given information sources is significant, all lengths are listed. But if the lengths from secondary information sources are similar, they are averaged and that figure has an asterisk. Scientists debate whether the Amazon or the Nile is the longest river in the world. Traditionally, the Nile is considered longer, but recent information suggests that the Amazon may be longer. Differences in the recorded length of the Amazon mainly depend on whether or not it is valid to take a course south of the Ilha de Madejo at the Amazon's mouth. New evidence, dated June 16, 2007, obtained from a high-altitude scientific venture in the Andes, claims that the Amazon is longer than the Nile by 100 kilometers, with its longest headwater being the Cahuazantes stream originating in the south of Peru on the Nevado-Mismi Mountains' northern slopes and flowing into the Rio Apurimac. However, the origin of the river at Nevado-Mismi had already been known more than 1 decade earlier, see Jake Palkaiewicz, and satellite-based measuring from this origin to the Amazon mouth has resulted in not more than 6,400 kilometers. Generally, the most commonly used anglicized name of the river is used. The name in a native language or alternate spelling may be shown. The exact percentage of each river in countries may be disputed, including the effects of political frontier disputes, or unknown.
River systems that may have existed in the past. Amazon Congo.
The Amazon basin formerly drained westwards into the Pacific Ocean, until the Andes rose and reversed the drainage. The Congo basin is completely surrounded by high land, except for its long narrow exit valley past Kinshasa, including waterfalls around Manianga. That gives the impression that most of the Congo basin was formerly on a much higher land level and that it was rejuvenated by much of its lower course being removed. Before Gondwanaland broke up due to continental drift, the Congo would likely have flowed into the Amazon.
West Siberian glacial lake drainage.
This river would have been about 10,000 kilometers, 6,200 miles, long, in the last ice age. Its longest headwater was the Selenga River of Mongolia. It drained through ice-dammed lakes in the Aral Sea and the Caspian Sea to the Black Sea.
Nile.
Formerly Lake Tanganyika drained northwards into the White Nile, making the Nile somewhere around 1,400 kilometers, 870 miles, longer, until in the Miocene the Virunga volcanoes arose and blocked its course. Also, when the Mediterranean was dry during the Messinian salinity crisis, the Nile extended northwards over the dry seabed and thus may have gained 160 kilometers, 99 miles, or more in length. When the Mediterranean Sea was dry or much lower during the Messinian salinity crisis, the Po would have extended its course southeastwards in what is today the seabed of the Adriatic Sea, more or less doubling its current length, 652 kilometers, likely varying seasonally according to how far it managed to flow across the hot dry seabed until it dried.